Thank you so much for coming to my studio today. Today we are working on part 7 of painting the airbrush portrait, and it's very exciting because we're going over some really cool opaque airbrush techniques, such as using a little bit of orange in white when creating highlights, and the utilization of 2 airbrushes at a time when working on portraits in the latter stages, right after this.
We are who we are. Why don't I be me and you be you? We're spreading color around us.
So if you're new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I do everything from airbrush tutorials and demonstrations, pastel paintings and demonstrations and advanced techniques, as well as advanced techniques in drawing. So don't miss out. Let's grow as artists together. If you hit that little bell icon, you'll be alerted to every new video that comes out. I do at least 1 video per week, sometimes 2 videos per week, but this is a great learning resource for you. Now, on to the video. So in this video, I am using the Iwata Custom Micron CM-C Plus, and then for the broader areas, I'm using the Iwata Eclipse HP SB, which is a beautiful airbrush as well. Now for the paints, for the dark colors, I use violet oxide, Golden Fluid Acrylics, with some yellow ochre, Golden Fluid Acrylics, and a little bit of burnt sienna. And also for the light areas, for the highlights and lightening up the midtones, I use titanium white, and that is mixed with just a little bit of the pyrrole orange. And then over here for the midtones, as you can see, I used the Naples Yellow Hue Golden Fluid Acrylics, and as well as yellow ochre Golden Fluid Acrylics. Now the fluid acrylics are always thinned down with the airbrush medium, and it takes the thicker paints and basically brings them to a viscosity so you can shoot them through the airbrush. However, there are times when I want a little more transparency, I want a little thinner, and then at that point I will go ahead and use the Golden Airbrush Transparent Extender. I use these little mixing cups, which are really great. Let me see if I can get them in focus here. They are fantastic. They have lids, so I could actually use them for later days, so I don't have to remix them. So that usually lasts about 2 days before they start drying out anyway. So I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how I mix the little bit of pyrrole orange with the white to avoid the blue shift. Now the fluid acrylics are a little thick, so you can see I'm adding some of the airbrush medium and just a little bit of water, never more than 10%. You want the paint to get to the consistency of, let's say, skim milk. Now as far as the pyrrole orange, in the later stages of the portrait, you want to make sure you're very, very sparing with the orange. Just 1 drop here. And also you'll notice I put a little bit of the Naples yellow in there just to match the skin tones a little better.
We're lighting up the sky, it's what we do. We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. So come on now, let's be free. Just be yourself. Keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like, do what you like to do. Try to express yourself in your own way, and we could have some fun. No problems coming in.
Now with my custom micron, the CM-C+, I'm going in with the darks. Not the darkest darks, but I would say the close to the darkest darks. So you'll see here I'm reestablishing the shadow of her crown, as well as reestablishing the darks in her cheeks and the nose. The darks are very important because if the darks are too light, that means your midtones and your lights will be too light as well. So it's always important to gauge the rest of the painting by how darks are your darks.
We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. We shouldn't care about anyone who brings us down. Doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like to do, what you like to do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like to, what you like to do.
Now with the custom micron, I'm using that white-orange mixture to go ahead and sort of reestablish the light shapes. And this is very important, this sort of push and pull between the midtones, the lights, and the darks. So as you can see here, I'm reestablishing some of those lights that I might even go over with some darks in the future, retouching some of the highlights as well. But the one thing that's important is that it's basically just working together, sort of making the painting like a sculpture that is wet, like wet clay. So it's very important to mix the lights and the darks and going back and forth. Remember in the beginning of the video I talked about having two airbrushes going at the same time. With the lights or the highlights, I'm using my custom Micron CM-C+, and here you can see I'm using the CM-SBS, which is for the lights, that yellow ochre Naples yellow mixture I spoke of earlier. So as you can see, I'm re-establishing some of those lights, and then I'll go back over it with the orange white mixture, and then from there hit it with those darks. So you can actually see how working back and forth is very important, because at this point there are a lot of subtleties that you couldn't handle just by going in with one color and going in with the next. It's important, I feel, to have two airbrushes going at the same time. And as you can see now, I'm going back in with my CM-C+, which has that white mixture with the orange, and I'm actually refining those shapes of the lights and then re-establishing the highlights. I'll go back over it again with that yellow ochre Naples yellow mixture, so you can see it's all about refining. Just as I said, it's like that sculptor that is just molding the clay to its exact specifications.
Of decisions whirling in my heart, and my vision, a rescission, has never been this hard. I got wasted when I tasted the sweetness of your lips. We're not ready, we're unsteady, I'm stuck inside your grip. I'm going down, down, down like a waterfall. You're keeping us miles apart. You got me down, down, down like a waterfall. You know just how to restrain a heart. The question of obsession has never been this close. And the matter if I'd rather just lock myself indoors. I'm righteous, this virus, no dog or pill can
So I'm back with my custom micron CM-SBS, and I loaded that with the dark. So I'm reestablishing those dark areas, deepening those shadow areas, so I can actually go ahead and deepen those lights and also make my highlights pop out. So as you can see, the 2 airbrush method really works because you're thinking much quicker, and also you are almost like that sculptor using wet clay. So definitely consider, if you do have them, and the hookup is the using that 2 airbrush method.
You know I'm going down. I'm going down, down, down like a gun going down. You're keeping the smiles apart. You know you got me down, down, down like a waterfall. You know just how to restrain my heart. We are who we are. Why don't I be me and you be you? We're spreading color around us. We're lighting up the sky, it's what we do. We shouldn't care about anyone or anything that brings us down. So come on now, let's be free. Just be yourself. Keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like, do what you like to do, do what you like, do what you like, do what you like to do.
Hey, thank you again for coming to my studio. I really appreciate that. So if you really enjoyed this, please go ahead and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and we will talk to you in a few days. Take care.
Express yourself in your own way, and we could have some fun. No problems.